What you need to do is you need to make sure that you actually have very specific processes in place before you actually do the event or the marketing that's going to tell you at the end what your ROI was. So for example, if you're going to send out flyers, those flyers should be coded with some sort of code or special number that get brought in to a certain line, then routed to you. So you know, oh, those flyers in that area, that I got this many phone calls from them. Out of those phone calls, I got 5 patients. Yep, got my return on investment on that easily, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Hey leaders, hope you're doing great. I hope you're enjoying your summer so far. And today I just wanted to reach out to you real quickly with another leadership idea. Hopefully you can tell that through these conversations or these videos that I'm sending out, they're all based upon real actual events that are happening with some of my clients, some of the challenges that come up that I feel, you know, everybody at one point or another has the same questions or same challenges. So why not make a video about it and help share that with everyone when and if you ever need the help or the ideas that these videos give you, you can use them and have them in your library. So this week I had a conversation with a client about their patient appreciation party. And I know many of you are having these. I love that you do patient appreciation parties. It's a really great way to market if you use it as a marketing tool and understand what your ROI is going to be on it. The ROI, the return on your investment, whatever amount of money you're putting into something, whether it be marketing like flyers or hiring billboards or whatever it might be, or you're doing a patient appreciation party, that's all part of marketing. You got to understand what your ROI is going to be on that, or you at least have a goal for an ROI on that. The old idea of just putting something out there and hoping and praying, that's not a plan. Hoping and praying is not a plan. What you need to do is you need to make sure that you actually have very specific processes in place before you actually do the event or the marketing that's going to tell you at the end what your ROI was. So for example, if you're going to send out flyers, those flyers should be coded with some sort of code or special number that get brought in to a certain line, then routed to you. So you know, oh, those flyers in that area, that I got this many phone calls from them. Out of those phone calls, I got 5 patients. Yep, got my return on investment on that easily, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. We have a billboard up. That billboard's going to have a certain code. Call in and mention this ad. If you look at marketing that's out there, any type of ads or ad placements that you see either online or on I almost said yellow pages, in your flyers or value ads, value savers, anything like that, make sure that you look at those and see how they are hopefully marketing themselves. Use this code, call this number, mention this ad. Those are all ways that we track how that marketing is doing. The second thing is when you're doing these patient appreciation parties, make sure that you're having some way of encouraging or incentivizing your current patients to bring potential new patients. So you can have a drawing where at that drawing, you're going to say, hey, we're going to give away free Invisalign or whatever. And let's use Invisalign for the example. We're going to give away a free Invisalign to somebody at this patient appreciation party. It's going to be a great, great opportunity. For every person that you bring in, and I'm just going to assume that your ideal client is someone between the ages of 12 and 16, and they come from a 2-parent home. There's a lot more that goes into your ideal client, right? But let's just use that. For every friend that you bring that's between the ages of 12 and 16 years old and they do not have braces yet, we will give you 2 more entries into the raffle or whatever it might be. You get my point, right? You can create the parameters. Everyone who shows up with a friend, you get a raffle. If you do more than just show up with a friend and you do this parameter, we're going to give you this. If you show up with a friend and their mom and dad come and they sign this, newsletter waiver or this email waiver, then you will get more. You see this all the time when it comes to other businesses where they say, hey, if you do this, then we'll give you that. That's the law of reciprocity, and it works really, really well. Matter of fact, Hare Krishnas were really good about doing this when it came to the little paper flower. that increased their donations astronomically just by giving people a free paper flower, because you have that law of reciprocity. So you want to make sure that you're giving them the ability to come to your pool party or your movie or your whatever it is. They're more than okay by saying, oh, well, if I want this, then I get to do that. And you can, like I said, build up that criteria. But the idea is that you not only have something in the front end to make sure that you are collecting names or getting people incentivized to bring other potential patients to you, but on the back end, what's your follow-up system like? If you don't have a very clear follow-up strategy at the back end of it, then you're going to lose out on a ton of people. Many of you watching this video right now, you're here because at the end of time that I spoke and that I gave you a free thing or a free couple of things or my book, that you then got follow-up phone calls from my wife or myself or my assistant or anybody in my organization, and you got emails to follow up with that, because that was a very specific process to make sure that I wanted to get as many people as I could to say yes to me, because I wanted to know what my ROI was from that event. Also, another thing to think about when you are doing these events is you have a captive audience right in front of you. So that means that you have an opportunity not just to say, hi, everybody, thanks for coming, but to do something more, to challenge them to do more. If you remember, if you've watched any of the Master of Communication program and the Master of Influence stuff, when I talk about that there's a very specific way that leaders and influencers actually help create more influence in people's lives. And that's number one, by telling them how they need to think. And number two, telling them and challenging them on something. So when you're in front of them, be willing to be an influencer. Yes, I want you to say thank you for being here. I want you to say how much you appreciate their patronage as your client. But you also want to be able to take that opportunity to, in that moment, give them something special, maybe a deadline for a special promotion that you're doing. If it's a summer thing, talk about it's your summer of smiles. And if you or anyone you know that you refer to us gets a set of braces or decides to come in for an exam and they end up getting braces by the end of this date, then they will get this. Or we're doing a competition on how many people we can get into the office and how many smiles we can create over this summer. We want to create 500 smiles this summer, so you can be a part of that. Whatever it is, help people get involved. Remember, if you think about it, there's a great book called Tribes by Seth Godin, and they talk about how we as people, we love to be with other people who are like us, right? Create our own tribes. And there are tribes for just about anything over there. As a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, Shannon and I were invited with some friends of ours to go on a cruise of gamers, like not video gamers, but there's some castle building thing. We have nothing to do with it. I have no idea what they're talking about. But when they're like, hey, we're going on this cruise, we'd love you guys to go too. And it's all about board games and stuff like that. Point is that there are tribes for anything. You get to create your own tribe. People want to feel like they belong to something. So when you can help them be a part of your success, if any of you have heard from Dr. Kors, who's getting this video too, and you know about their success in December, about getting people behind popping balloons and helping them create a certain amount of smiles during December. Dr. Nakfor, who's also on here, he's going to be doing he has a goal to do 10,000 smiles in the next 10 years. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And he's going to be announcing this and getting people enrolled into help us out, be a part of this journey. We're so excited to share it with you and give you updates. If you're in front of a crowd, it is a perfect opportunity to help them make a step forward in helping you in your business. It's not a bad thing to self-promote. Matter of fact, that's what being a business leader and owner is all about. So make sure that as you're going about these events that you're doing, this marketing process that you're doing, that you are figuring out what your ROI is, what your goal is for your ROI beforehand. You're creating some sort of incentive for people to bring more potential clients to you, and you have a follow-up system behind there. By the way, this should all be umbrellaed under the idea that you're not doing the event just to do an event. You're doing the event because it fits within your core values and what you want to give to people in your area. It's about getting your name out there more. If you're just having a party that a lot of parents can drop their kids off of and you become a glorified babysitter, a free babysitter for the next 4 hours, and they're getting fed and get to play and they don't have a clue who you are at the end of the day, that's not a good marketing campaign or an idea. So think about it that way. How are you going to get an ROI before you even get into the process? What is the thing that we're going to do? If we're going to spend $10,000 on something, $5,000, $1,000 on something, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're going to spend on that thing, what is our ROI and how can we make that rise as high as possible? What is going to be our marketing standpoint behind all of it? Are we going to make sure that we have a social media presence before, during, and after the event? That's a free ROI, investment that can bring in a ton of return with just doing better social media presence. So really understand what that's about, and whatever you're doing this summer, just make sure that, or whenever you do it actually, whenever you do your patient appreciation, that you are focused on an ROI goal and a great follow-up process. You'll be so happy you did. Hope that's helpful for you, helpful to you for this week, as the thought that I had about leaders and what you guys are doing. You're awesome. What you do for your patients is amazing, and I'm honored to be able to be a part of that journey. Hope you guys have a great week. Talk to you later.